What's up, motherfuckers? It's the hater back again up in this bitch. And I'm making this video for a later time, I think. I don't know when I'm going to release it because I have a few in the pipeline, motherfuckers. But let's put it this way. Probably not today, motherfuckers. Today is the 12th of April, but probably not today. I don't know. I got to figure this out. But right now, we're going to talk about something that's very, very important in wrestling, which is mainstream appeal, right? A lot of people, I've been seeing a lot of comments now that the Revival has left WWE, and I guess they're expected to go to AEW, right? Which I think actually is good for everyone involved. You know what I mean? Like, WWE paying these guys $700K each a year is just ridiculous. These guys deserve about $35 and like a Sheamus t-shirt from 2006. But so them leaving is good for WWE. It's also good for AEW because AEW tag teams, like there's a lot of them, but there's still room for like some uniqueness. You know, like they have a lot of flippy teams. So the Revival can actually go there and just be like, we're here to like, get rid of the flippy teams. You know, it writes itself and culminates with like a match between them and the Young Bucks. Now, as you guys know, I don't use the words dream match very often, but if there is a tag team dream match, that's one of them. You know what I mean? The ultimate flippy team against the team that doesn't do any flippy shit. Like, that's a match that I would look forward to. Now, that being said, the Revival are still two short, fat jobbers. I mean, let's not get it twisted, right? Like, these guys, they look like, I mean, saying they look like regular dudes is an understatement, you know, because they look like completely regular dudes. Like, they look like guys that you would see at the grocery store, and you would not even think that they're wrestlers, right? At least if you see someone like Xavier Woods, right, or Kofi Kingston, you know, you're like, oh, Xavier Woods, this guy's like pretty big, you know, he's pretty muscular. You know, he probably does something, you know, physical. He at least goes to the gym. But if you see like Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, you'll just be like, oh, these two guys are probably like mechanics at Jiffy Lube, you know, that change your oil. Like, they look like completely normal dudes. They don't look at all like wrestlers. You know what I mean? Like, if they were fatter, it would actually be better for them. They're just like these two little chubby, little jobber, you know, looking some bitches. But the point is that now that these motherfucks are moving to AEW, there's all this talk about how AEW is, I don't want to say winning the war, but how they're improving. You know, I will say that it is a big deal, not the Revival, but it is a big deal for AEW to sign someone like Matt Hardy. But it's only a big deal if there is an exclusivity deal. If Matt Hardy's going to appear there, but also appear in New Japan or appear elsewhere, that's not good, you know? Exclusivity is what makes wrestling companies legit. You know, where it's like, where can I see John Cena? I can only see John Cena in WWE. I can't see him in New Japan. Don't even think about it, motherfucks. You can only see these people in one place. Therefore, you watch that place hoping that these people show up, right? That's the philosophy behind it. But a lot of people don't understand that. Another thing people don't understand, unfortunately, is this fact, really, that you need mainstream penetration, if you will, right? You need a mainstream audience. You need to tap into the mainstream in order to grow your audience. It is going to be very, very hard for AEW and even WWE to grow their audience. WWE is going to have an easier job just because, like, they have more money, basically. But the facts are this. There are no longer people that have their own fans, right? There are, like, in this world, motherfucks, there are zero people that are Hangman Page fans that aren't also Kenny Omega fans. Do you understand what I'm saying? Adam Page, even though he's like one of the better ones in AEW, Adam Page draws zero people. Literally, I actually mean he draws zero people, right? Because if he left, the viewership wouldn't change at all. No one would care because the people that are watching for him are also watching for Cody Rhodes and the Young Cucks and Cucky Omega. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they're already watching. So that's the problem, right? Like, back in the day, for example, during the Monday Night Wars, people actually had fan bases, right? So there were people that watched Raw only because Diesel was there. So when Diesel becomes Kevin Nash and goes to WCW, people will switch the channel, right? They'll be like, oh, he's over here now. I like him. You understand what I'm saying? So they will switch the channel. Like Hulk Hogan is a perfect example, right? Hulk Hogan is the biggest star in the history of wrestling, right? Doesn't matter where Hulk Hogan goes. There are people out there that will watch because it's Hulk Hogan. The end. If he goes to AEW, the ratings will go up because people will be like, oh shit, Hulk Hogan's back. I don't care where he's back. I just care that he's back. So I'm going to go watch wherever he is, right? And this is where mainstream appeal comes into play, right? The reason why WWE periodically signs people like Gronk and Ronda Rousey is because these are people, it's not because they expect Gronk to be the next Brock Lesnar, right? But these are people that have a mainstream following, right? There are people out there that know Gronk and like him for what he did in football and just like him as a personality. So if Gronk happens to be on Family Feud, people will watch because they're like, oh shit, Gronk's on Family Feud. I gotta watch Gronk because I like him, right? It's the same exact philosophy. Now they're like, Gronk is in wrestling. What's he gonna do? Oh, I heard Gronk won a championship in WWE. Let's go check it out. So they go and check it out, and they're like, oh, I also like this other thing that I saw, let's say, right? I also like AJ Styles. Maybe I'll watch next week. And that's how you make new fans. But people like the Revival, they don't have their own fans. Now, I'm not saying they have no fans. Of course they have fans, right? But their fandom, right? There might be an outlier here and there, but pretty much all fans of the Revival are also fans of, a number of other things. Like, for example, they're also fans of wrestling and indie wrestling, probably, right? So a lot of people that like the Revival, almost all of them, already know about AEW, right? So the Revival is not bringing any new fans to AEW. Like, there is, like, if you drew a Venn diagram, there would be a big circle, right? That would be the fans that like WWE. And then there would be another circle, fans that like AEW. And then there would be the overlap part of the Venn diagram, right? The idea here, but the WWE circle would engulf the entire AEW circle because there isn't one person that watches AEW that doesn't watch Raw. Don't forget about what people are saying. Oh, I'm a lapsed fan. Shut the fuck up. Everyone that watches AEW knows, like every person that watches AEW, that will watch AEW next week, every one of those people watch WrestleMania, right? The bigger issue is that WWE has fans that don't watch AEW. So how do you attract these fans away from WWE or to at least have them also watch your product, right? You don't do this by signing the Revival because not one person who likes only WWE is going to even notice that the Revival is gone. These people we call the casual fans, motherfucks. The people in the Venn diagram, right, that do not, I'm going to have to draw this up for you motherfucks. The people in the Venn diagram that do not watch AEW are the casual fans. And you know what? I haven't even drawn it up yet, but I'm going to draw it up. So you can look at the graphic that's on your screen right now, motherfucks, and you will see what I'm talking about. The casual fans are the people that only watch WWE or that typically don't really give a rat's ass, right? These are the people that you want to draw away. None of these people are diehard Revival fans. None of these people are even diehard Matt Hardy fans. Now, Matt Hardy, more so than the Revival, might bring in a few fans, right? Because there might be some people who, like, haven't heard the name Matt Hardy in a long time. And they're like, oh, I hear Matt Hardy's in a new wrestling company. I haven't seen him since the 90s, right? They're like, oh, let's go check it out, right? But generally speaking, the way to grow your audience is to create new fans, right? One. And two, bring in people that have mass appeal. Mass appeal, motherfuckers. People are like, oh, WWE is signing Killer Cross. It's going to get better now. Is it? Does Killer Cross or Scarlett Bordeaux have any fans that don't already watch wrestling? No, they don't, motherfuckers. They have zero of those motherfuckers. Gronk is a better signing than every wrestler in NXT combined because Gronk has actual fans that don't watch wrestling, but watch Gronk. Do you see where I'm going with this, cucks? That's what I'm trying to say, right? So this idea that, like, oh, AEW is going to, like, get a ratings boost because Matt Hardy and the Revival are coming is ridiculous. They will get none of that, right? The only person that is a draw in AEW, the only one is Jericho. And maybe you can argue JR. That's it. No one else gives a fuck. Like, there are people that will watch AEW only because they're like, I remember JR was good on commentary. Let's go check out what he's doing. And there are people who are like, oh, Jericho's one of my favorite wrestlers. Let's go watch what he's doing. That's it. No one else is a draw, right? WWE, on the other hand, has actual strategies on how to draw people, right? Do you think it's a coincidence that WWE signs people like Sin Cara and Hideo Itami and Nakamura? No, motherfucks. They're trying to penetrate the Mexican market and the Japanese market. That's what they're trying to do. It's not a coincidence. Like, do you really think that Vince McMahon looks at Nakamura and says this guy is going to be the next Randy Orton or the next Cena. No, he's like, oh, I guess we have a new Taka Michinoku on deck. Put him in there, have him win some things, so that when we start NXT Japan, right, people already know a lot about WWE. They see that we treat their stars decently well, right, and they have this appeal, right, because Japanese people Japanese people will be more likely to watch WWE if there are Japanese wrestlers. You understand what I'm saying? It's common sense, right? That's why WWE signs international stars, you know, and that's why they've invested heavily in the Mexican and the broader Latino market, right? That's why on SmackDown, right, back in the day, you had Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, right? Because SmackDown is cable TV, so everyone gets cable TV. You appeal to the broad audience, and you appeal to all the Latinos. In here, in the United States, and elsewhere. Even in Mexico, they're like, oh man, Eddie Guerrero, like, he's cool, right? That's what happens, and that's how you grow your market. You don't grow your market by signing people who get you no new fans. You understand what I'm saying? That doesn't happen, you know? The only reason you should sign someone is there's three reasons, really. One of them is obsolete as a reason because it doesn't really happen anymore. But the primary reason is you want to make a big star. WWE is not in the business of making big stars anymore. AEW really can't make any big stars, so that's off the list. Reason two, you want someone that can have actual good matches and good contributions, right? So someone that's good. You know, someone like when the WWE signed back the Dudley Boys or the Hardy Boys, right? Like, they didn't do that because the Dudley Boys are bringing new fans. You know, they did it because the Dudley Boys will have some good matches and they'll be like interesting and they might retain an audience, right? And then, of course, there's reason three. We've just went over reasons 1 and 2, and they're probably the most important. But we also have the third reason why you might want to sign new people. And as I said before, that reason is if you think this person will get you new viewers. When I say new viewers, once again, I'm talking about new casual people that you might then convert into hardcore fans later on. But they have to start as casuals at some point, right? Think about the biggest celebrity like right now. I don't know who it would be. Let's just say Justin Bieber, right? If you have Justin Bieber come to Monday Night Raw and he like decides to, I don't know, do like an RKO on Edge, people will be like, oh, holy shit, Justin Bieber just did an RKO on Edge. There will be a buzz around it. And then all the Bieber fans around the world might tune into Raw one time. And then all you need, once they tune in, all you need is to capture their attention and convert some of them. And then you can get rid of Justin Bieber, right? That's the idea. That's the idea behind celebrity endorsements. That's the idea behind advertising in general, right? Do you think that that people like Michael Jackson, you know, doing their Coca-Cola and Pepsi ads, do you think people really give a shit that Michael Jackson drinks Coca-Cola? No. But if you're watching TV and you're like tuning out because you don't give a fuck, and you see Michael Jackson, you're like, oh, holy shit, Michael Jackson, that's cool. What is he doing? Then you're like, oh, Pepsi, right? And that's all they need. Then they hook you in. Then you try Pepsi, and that caffeine gets in your ass, and all of a sudden, you're a Pepsi addict. You understand what I'm saying, motherfuckers? This is the strategy of wrestling. The indie strategy is not working. When TNA did it, it made a lot of sense because TNA signed big-time stars. Like, I'm talking big-time stars. Like Kurt Angle. You know, there were people that stopped watching WWE because they only liked Kurt Angle. Right? Or they liked Kurt Angle so much that they watched both TNA and WWE. And then Sting, when Sting came back, this brought back like a slew of fans that were like, oh, Sting was my favorite wrestler of all time. I don't give a fuck. But oh, Sting's back? Let's check out what he's doing, right? TNA made big time signings. Not Marks and Smart signings like Matt Hardy and The Revival and Luke Harper. Luke Harper doesn't have any fans. Every Luke Harper fan is also a Bray Wyatt fan. Every single Luke Harper fan is also like, I don't want to say they're an Eric Rowan fan, but they're, you understand what I'm saying. Like every Luke Harper fan is also like, let's think of another, like a Kenny Omega fan. All of them, their overlap is insane. It's a perfect circle. There are no people that have ever said the following sentence. Well, I really like Luke Harper, you know, and I would watch a show if he's on it, but I don't like Kenny Omega. I'm not going to watch a show if he's on it. That person doesn't exist. Because Marks and Smarks have a one-track mentality. If it's not WWE, they like it. And that's the problem, right? The only way that you will attract a casual audience is if you attract big stars. And let's face it, Luke Harper, even Matt Hardy, and sure as shit the Revival are not big stars and they do not have any fans. There is not one person out there in the history of Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown Live, whatever the fuck they call it, there is not one person who decided, like, you know, like by 8 o'clock on Monday, let's say, right? Not one person was sitting down there thinking, I will only watch today if the Revival is on, otherwise I'm not watching. Or, I will not watch unless Luke Harper is on. This has never happened. And if there's not even one person who did that, the point is, no one cares. They're not needed, right? Luke Harper and the Revival are replaceable. Now, they're going to get good contracts, I'm sure, with AEW, only because they're WWE guys. And that's it. That's it. Because there is still an appeal of like, oh, we have a lot of WWE guys. You're like, oh, cool. You know, like, Luke Harper might not draw me in. Matt Hardy might not draw me in. The Revival might not draw me in. But the combination of WWE guys might be enough to make me watch AEW. And then maybe I might like it, right? But even then, it's still not realistic because everyone that watches AEW already knows and likes all the indie jobbers. You know? What you want to do is you want to capture the fans of the mainstream guys. You want to capture the John Cena fans, the Randy Orton fans. These people, like all the people in India, you know, if you go to WWE video, all these people from India who are like John Cena, Roman Reigns, like they like the ones that they're supposed to like, you know what I mean? Like, you want to capture these guys, like, but you can't because you tell the guy from India, they're like, hey, did you hear? The Revival's on AEW. The guy from India is going to be like, I don't give a fuck about the Revival. I'm here to watch Roman Reigns. I don't give a shit about these two fat jobbers. That's what he'll say, you know? So that's what I got to say about that, motherfucks. So keep it dirty. Stay, what was the catchphrase that I came up with recently? I forgot. I'm going to have to listen to my video again to reinstate my catchphrase, bitches.